Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me. I am still tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It is still in the description below. It is still your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. Email me for pricing at tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today we're discussing a variant launched in 2016, 2 years after the original Cartier Calibre de Cartier diver. We received this model in vibrant blue. Not only is it a different color, but it also features the first ceramic bezel insert on the Calibre de Cartier diver series. So 42 millimeters in diameter, yet it wears smaller than that. Being 11.5 millimeters thick, it's one of the thinnest dive watches you'll encounter. And then from lug tip to lug tip, you're going to find it is 48 millimeters with a bit of an oddball 23.5 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Because of the shape of the case, look at this arcing profile, almost like a tonneau. So while it's a round watch, it doesn't wear that way. It wears more compact than its size would suggest. And you can see just how thin it really is. It will slide underneath the dress cuff. You can also see, and I'll pull my sleeve out of the way so you can see this a little bit better, that the shape of the case really does mitigate fit issues and leave the watch cradled over the wrist, almost like a limpet grasping your forearm. So it's grasping my arm quite tightly, and as you can see, quite securely. Look how far around the edge of my wrist those lugs extend to hug it. Taking a quick look in profile, you can see that this watch would fit a wrist as small as 14 centimeters circumference. Again, my wrist is 16. The strap here is made in Austria, Cartier OEM, neither crimped nor gouged, brand new. It has evacuations on the bottom to better vent the wrist, and removing that material makes it more supple and flexible. We have a stainless steel Cartier buckle here that includes a combination of media blast on the bottom and then brushed satin across the top. If you look carefully, you can see that the buckle and the pin have differential finish, with this being satinated across its top and the pin being media blasted. Quite nice. We also have an elevated bridge, which is always a nice thing for the way the strap will fit. As you can see, when it is inside the buckle, it sits more or less flush. It doesn't stack up and add thickness. The case is handsomely decorated. You can see these little micro bevels down the shoulders of the lugs, giving it elements of nuance, a delicate detailing, speaking to the inherent elegance of a Cartier watch. Whether it's a sports watch or a dress watch, it is always a Cartier. There is a tumble home to the lugs. They sort of slope off to the side in addition to curling around. As you can see here, the screws do not physically hold the strap in place. A conventional spring bar system is used for that. We have little recesses in the flank of the case so that the strap can be super close to the case. No daylight visible between them. It's a highly integrated look that is artful, thoughtful, and even ergonomically outstanding, since the recesses are deep enough that there's no impediment to the motion of the strap, as often happens when a strap is pressed right up against a case. So you get that cool integrated look, but you also get pivot centers that are closer to the middle of the case. And with a strap that has a full range of motion, that means you can pull it down around the curve of a small wrist and get an outstanding fit in spite of being borderline sized for your wrist. If you're close, this is going to meet you halfway. Now, the lugs are stepped out. This is not a Seamaster or Submariner or Sea Dweller style case. It's got these stepped lugs, which are unusual in the dive watch space. Satin finish across. You can see that we have satin on the lug hoods. We also have polish on the knurling of the bezel outboard all the way around to the faceted and polished crown. The crown here is a screw down. The watch is 300 meters water resistant, but Cartier made a point of emphasizing this is an ISO 6425 dive watch. This is not a, quote, diver. This is a diver, which means it's been tested to 125% of the rating on the dial. That is 300 meters. That is 125% of 300 meters. Taking a quick look, there is a little spinel cabochon that's been faceted to resemble a blue sapphire. We have micro polishing, little polished facets on these crown guards, which can be removed because they're screw fixed if they get gouged. The bezel is on par with the best in the business for feel and precision. So I'm comparing this to Rolex and Grand Seiko dive bezels. Not only 120 click, but it seems to ratchet and glide at the same time. Ratcheting implies an abrupt indexing. Gliding implies something smooth. To have them both at once, that is a rare feat, but this watch has them. Now you can see this wonderful feeling and sounding bezel has a little bit of a dished profile. It slopes in, and then the rest of it is all in gloss with white lettering, and this is ceramic. The original black bezel, Calibre de Cartier diver, uses ADLC, which is amorphous diamond-like carbon. It's a different material, but fundamentally it was a coating on a steel bezel. This is ceramic right here with all the scratch resistance that entails. Now we're going to do a lume shot. And you can see this watch is rather distinctively lumed. The running seconds, easy to spot, especially since the track for the running seconds is fully lumed. So with running seconds lumed, you know whether your watch is operating in the dark, especially when you're underwater. Every dive watch should have that, but for some reason, every dive watch doesn't. We have a large and unmistakable bezel pearl triangular index. You can line that up against the minute hand, and then day or night, you've got a 0 to 60 minute count-up timer. I always say that I prefer a dive bezel to a chronograph, easier to read, cheaper to service, and it gives you a measurement between 30 and 60 minutes elapsed, whereas a conventional chronograph generally doesn't. So that's a win for Cartier on every level. We have a concentric pattern underneath the hour track. We have the Cartier secret signature at 10 o'clock. We have polished metallic frames for the sub-seconds as well as the date. The date is a triple date, so if for some reason the minute hand is covering up your view of the date, you can see the succeeding and the preceding and know what date it is currently. So you can see I've activated hacking or stop seconds. The watch also features a function that quick sets the dates. You can set rapidly, setting that rapidly in case you encounter an irregular length month or the watch should run down. The center dial is blue metallic, and then we have white stylized Roman numerals. Although if you look carefully, maybe we need a term for this. The top is Roman numerals, the bottom is stick indices. This isn't a California dial, because that would be Arabic numerals, but we really need a name for this half stick, half Roman numeral dial. On the reverse side, you can see 300 meters. It is a diver's watch. Underneath, we have the Cartier manufacturer caliber, 1904 PS for Petite Second, small second, and MC for manufacturer Cartier. At 25.6 millimeters, it's a drop-in replacement for the ETA 2892A2, but it's a bit more sophisticated. A 27-jewel automatic winder with a 48-hour power reserve and a 4 hertz beat rate. It's got the stop seconds, the quick set date, but it has 2 barrels in series. With twin barrels in series and phased mainsprings, it's able to achieve a very regular balance amplitude and almost constant force from fully wound to almost fully discharged. So you get most of the benefits of something expensive and space intensive like a remontoir or a fusée, but you get it without resorting to that complexity or cost, and you get it in a watch that is a sports watch through and through. In my opinion, this is what the original 2010 Calibre de Cartier should have been from the beginning, and frankly what the 2014 black dial version should have been. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.